Kirby's molding of his oldest son's Chevy as a leader of the next generation of white warriors reached a new stage. The Kehoe family had stockpiled an arsenal, used aliases, and hid out from the government. Now Chevy, together with his mother and father, began to study the ideas of another white extremist, Bob Matthews.
We received some information that Chevy looked up to Bob Matthews and the things that Matthews was trying to do. Start a white nation.
Get the heck out of here! I didn't come all the way down here to hear you! Go over!
10 years earlier, before the Kehoes ever came to the Northwest, Bob Matthews was attracted to Aryan nations, but soon came to believe that setting up a whites-only nation took more than talk. He organized his own underground paramilitary group, the Order.
In fact, Bob Matthews spent one summer up the road here, about 7 to 8 miles, in an old log cabin.
From its base in the Pacific Northwest, the Order carried out murders and armored car robberies that netted millions.
And there is suspicion that some of the money was channeled into some of the church, Christian Identity Church activities in this area.
Within 2 years, Matthews was betrayed by one of his own and died in a fiery shootout with the FBI. Chevy was determined to carry on Bob Matthews' legacy and create a terrorist group to set up a homeland only for whites. He wanted to call it the Aryan People's Republic.
Chevy was in the process of recruiting people for his resistance group, the Aryan People's Republic.
Among those he recruited were Jeremy Scott and his wife, Kelly Kramer.
He was using Farron Lovelace as possibly a part of this group.
We're looking at a very, very small army that's ever going to be threatened to the front. There'll be some a lot smarter than I. They're going to be younger than I, stronger than I. And even that one can put terror into the hearts of 10,000 people.
Farron Lovelace, an escaped convict, soon went to work on one of Chevy's plans.
It's my understanding that this robbery that was committed by Farron Lovelace, the proceeds from that was to go to Chevy Kehoe to finance his resistance group. We did make that connection.
Their targets were Malcolm Friedman, a prosperous supermarket owner, and his wife Jillian, who lived in Colville.
I was off work that day and came home about 1 o'clock. Just a normal day. Got the mail, pulled up, got out of my car. Then I came into the house and about a minute and a half later, noticed something out of the corner of my eye, looked up, and coming out of my den was this figure, a man, totally dressed in camouflage.
Camouflage pants, shirt, long john.
And he came right in, right onto me. He was holding the rifle, but he had in his fingers a roll of duct tape. And that frightened me more than anything. Pushed me back down onto the couch and said, "Well, is your husband a Jew?" And I said, well, he has Jewish heritage, and he's very proud of it. I said, but he's not, he's not Jewish. He doesn't practice a Jewish religion.
I approached the home in Colville knowing who lived there. And I approached it because they were Jewish.
Chevy's beliefs that Jews were descendants of Satan helped his foot soldier Farron view the Friedmans as expendable.
I selected them because I believed that if they had not complied, that I would probably go ahead and kill them.
I felt that he was going to rob us and kill us.
Malcolm Friedman returned from work and was held at gunpoint. Farron's plan was to keep the husband hostage while he sent the wife off to get the money. Before sending Mrs. Friedman out for the cash, Farron had second thoughts.
Then he said, well, how much do you love him? Maybe you want him, you would kind of like to use this as an opportunity to collect on his life insurance. And I was sitting there you know, going, well,
Waiting for my
response. Now we're gonna find out if how she really feels about me, and so she made it very clear.
What did I say?
Well, that you love me.
More than life itself.
Yeah.
And I assured her that if I was surrounded by authorities, that I would help protect her.
Lovelace made off with a little more than $15,000. He gave the money to Chevy Kehoe, who bought land in northern Idaho to use as a base to build the Aryan People's Republic.
I think that if I were to hear about an incident like this, my gut instinct would be to not want to believe it, to not want to believe that here in rural America, Main Street, USA, that the evil neo-Nazis would be here in this area.
As extremist crimes began to be noticed in the Colville area, Lorraine Marie focused her reporting on them.
I came to realize that putting the spotlight on these people would help the dialogue begin.
But this dialogue hasn't been without risks.
People, I think, are worried that if they stand up and make a statement against this kind of activity, that it will have a negative impact on their family. And it could. I still think it's better to make a stand one way or another than to just let it go.
Lorraine Marie's fears were justified. When the police caught up with Farron, they found a hit list targeting for murder people he hated.
I got a call from a detective saying that I was on the top of a hit list that had been found in Farron Lovelace's cabin, and Farron Lovelace was affiliated with Chevy Kehoe.
Farron's threat was real. He had killed before. Chevy wanted Jeremy Scott's wife, Kelly, for a new second wife. Farron killed Jeremy Scott.
I can't say exactly when it began to start, but I did start feeling like I was being watched, and I started being careful of, who's following me when I'm on the road, things like that. My lug nuts were removed from my car on 2 occasions, and I feel like I know who did that.
I think Farron Lovelace and Chevy Kehoe was a threat, not only in that area, but any other area that they might go to. Somebody like Chevy Kehoe is a threat. He's going to do something.